With the 17th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Boston Red Sox select Nicholas York, a second baseman from Archbishop Mitty High School, San Jose, California.
Scouting for the draft domestically is really a year-long process.
In a standard year, we start scouting the next year's class the day after the draft. We have area scouts spread out all across the country. They're at the grassroots level and they're starting the process on all these players. And then we have regional cross-checkers, and they're kind of that next line of defense. And from there, it goes upward to our national staff. And then from there, it really comes into the front office with our assistant director of scouting and myself.
Our philosophy has always been to take the most talented player, regardless of position or profile or where they're from.
We want to get the guy who's going to provide the most impact for the Boston Red Sox, and whether that's a pitcher or a position player, we don't have a preference. We're just looking for the guy that is going to do that for us, and that to be will be, ultimately the win is if we get that player.
We're just trying to bring in as much value as we can to the organization, whether they're closer to being ready in a few years or it's going to be a longer process. We're worried about value over a sustained amount of time.
We want to get the best player that's going to provide the most impact for the Red Sox over the long term, and we're not really too focused on whether that's next year or the year after or 3-4 years from now.
The draft is the single biggest opportunity in terms of a one, or in this case a 3-day opportunity to add talent and to add value to your organization. That's true whether you're picking first or 30th. That's especially true for us this year because of where we pick, but it is that every year.
We'll crank that one out to left center. That one's way back there, and that ball is gone. Freddie Freeman has won the ball game. Atlanta on a walk-off, 8-7, the final score in 11.
First and foremost, we want the big league team to win, right? But I'd be lying if we weren't tracking where we were in the standings and how it was going to impact our draft position the following year. There are a couple advantages that come to it. The obvious one being that we're just going to be able to access a bigger bonus pool, right? But I also think from a process standpoint, not much changes. We're still going about it in a very similar way.
It's the first time we can kind of consider everybody in the draft pool. So in years past, we maybe have seen the top guys 1 or 2 times and then just kind of moved on. Whereas this year, we have to spend significant time with the guys at the top, which is exciting.
Picking fourth, our decisions and just how we go about thinking how we're ranking out those players it's all simplified because we're worried about 5, 6, 7 players, not 15, 20, 25 players.
We could have 8 to 10 and maybe more scouts throughout the year lay eyes on some of these guys that are in the mix right at the top.
We'll be in, over a week preparing and lining up the guys we like, how we like them.
The game is changing so quickly. We have so much information available to us, and it's really challenging at times to figure out how to balance all of that information and how to properly apply it without getting overloaded with it.
We'll go through different scenarios to try and see what would happen if this guy's there or this guy isn't there, and just be prepared for all the scenarios, and then just kind of do our work prior to the draft and see if we might have an idea of how it's going to play out, and then just sit back and wait and trust what we've spent all this time on is going to get us in the right spot, and we'll be ready to make the selection.
That's why we're here now, talking through the more intimate details of each player and doing our best to rank them appropriately.
We'll have a good idea of what's going to happen prior to draft day. Just because we are picking so high, I think you leave a little room for some surprises at the lower you are in the draft, but we will communicate with agents, the players themselves, the families, and we'll have a good idea of what's going to happen ahead of us.
The way that this year's draft works, the way we see this group of players, I think there are a number of different ways we could be high-fiving. There are certain scenarios that in my head I'm more hopeful for than others. But there isn't just one way this has to go.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Major League Baseball, we welcome you to the 2021 draft. We're thrilled to be here at the Belco Theater in Denver and to hold our draft for the first time ever on baseball's biggest stage of All-Star Week. With the first pick of the 2021 MLB Draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Henry Davis, a catcher from the University of Louisville.
Gliders can go here.
Trip and the amazingness of like eating off.
With the second pick of the 2021 MLB Draft, the Texas Rangers select Jack Leiter, a right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt University. With the third pick of the 2021 MLB Draft, the Detroit Tigers select Jackson Jobe, a right-handed pitcher from Heritage High School in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Boston Red Sox have the next pick. With the fourth pick of the 2021 MLB Draft, the Boston Red Sox select Marcelo Mayer, a shortstop from East Lake High School in Chula Vista, California.
Super excited. I was super excited. You know, leading up to the draft, you know, I had no clue what was going to happen. Even the morning of, we had no clue. My agent was talking to all the teams, and we had no clue. And when we got the call from the Red Sox, it was super exciting. You know, I tried so hard not to cry, and then when I heard my name, you know, tears just started bursting down in my eyes. So it was pretty special. Everything I could ask for. You know, you dream of it as a little kid, and you know, just to share the moment with my family, and not only cousins as well, uncles, everyone was there. So it was crazy. I'm looking to sign as soon as possible, and you know, I haven't really talked to them about that stuff, but you know, like I said, I'm looking to report to training camp as soon as possible. It's been amazing. It's been everything I could ask for. You know, just from sitting there at draft day, you know, to being here, it's super special. I think it's hit me a little harder since kind of I got off the plane and landing in Boston. You know, I know it's going to be a lot of hard work, and you know, I'm going to do whatever I can to put myself in the best position and, you know, work my butt off.
One of the exciting things about getting someone like Marcelo is that he has a chance to really be the complete package. The number one thing that comes to mind when I think about his game is just how smooth and easy it is on both sides of the ball. Easy actions, very smooth, natural. He really has a ceiling to be able to do everything on the field and impact the game in so many ways. Obviously, there's a long way from draft day for an 18-year-old to that ceiling. There's a lot of twists and turns that the road can take, but he has that upside, and that's really, really exciting.
It's amazing, you know, just from getting out of the airport, I already had fans, you know, coming up to me asking for my autograph. You know, it's just an amazing city and an amazing fan base. It just shows, you know, how dedicated this fan base and how loyal it is. It's been so quick, you know, and just to be here, it's super exciting. And, you know, I can't wait to, you know, see what happens today.
This was definitely a high-five outcome for us. You know, I've been in 17 draft rooms, and I have learned the hard way that sometimes the amount that you high-five does not necessarily match up with how well the draft ends up having gone. And that's why you do the work, that's why you build the board, and you trust the board, you follow the board. So there were a number of different things that would have made us happy that night, and I don't know that we can pretend to be smart enough to really know, you know, which one it was going to be the best. But I will say this, I don't think there's another way this could have fallen that would have led to as much excitement in that room.